good and for bad, on the fortunes of all the princes in this book, as well as providing them with opportunities for employment in the wars that plagued Italy throughout most of the 15th and 16th centuries. As heirs to the mighty empire of ancient Rome, the Italians were immensely proud of their past. They could read about it in histories, and they could see it in the great ruins that were visible across the peninsula, above all in Rome itself. But it was not just Rome that could boast an imperial heritage. Mantua was the birthplace of the poet Virgil, while Catullus and Pliny the Elder both came from Verona, as did Vitruvius, whose treatise on architecture was to have such a profound impact on the visual appearance of the cities of the Renaissance princes. Padua, which had been home to the historian Livy, claimed that it had been founded by Antenor after the Trojan Wars. Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon, which still flows into the Adriatic just north of Rimini, a port which boasted an Arch of Augustus and an ancient Roman bridge. The Bay of Naples had once been the playground of rich patricians and powerful emperors, while Milan was the city where Emperor Constantine signed the edict that established Christianity as an official religion in his empire. Italy may have been a geographical unit, but it was not a political one. While its citizens shared memories of a golden age gone by, they did not dream of that past being reborn into a glorious future of a united Italy. On the contrary, the peninsula was divided into many independent states, each with its own strong sense of individual identity, and each with its own system of currency, weights and measures, its own taxes, dialect, culinary specialities, and patron saint. In the aftermath of the collapse of the Roman Empire, Italy had been invaded by many armies, the Lombards, the Byzantines, Charlemagne, and the Franks, and so on. Above all, it had been the arena for the power struggle between Charlemagne's successors as Holy Roman Emperors and an increasingly powerful papacy. The small states of northern Italy emerged during the 12th century, when Pope and Emperor agreed their independence in the Peace of Constance, 1183, while Rome acquired its own area of secular authority in the old Byzantine lands of central Italy, the so-called Papal States, and south of Rome, where the Holy Roman Emperors held sway, became the Kingdom of Naples. One of the results of this carving up of the old empire was to have a significant impact on the politics of Renaissance Italy. Milan, Mantua, Modena, and Reggio were all imperial fiefs, owing their allegiance to the emperor north of the Alps. By contrast, Ferrara, Rimini, Urbino, Pesaro, and Naples were all papal fiefs, technically part of the Papal States. Initially, these independent city-states set up communal governments, but during the 13th and 14th centuries, they were taken over, one by powerful families who installed themselves as dynastic rulers. The Della Scala in Verona, 1262, the Este in Ferrara, 1274, and Modena, 1288, the Visconti in Milan, 1277, the Carrara in Padua, 1318, and the Gonzaga in Mantua, 1328. By contrast, in Genoa and Venice, a sort of semi-seigneurial rule evolved under the leadership of an elected duke, dialect doge, chosen from the wealthy mercantile classes, while in Florence and other Tuscan city-states, traders set up their own republics, ruled by elected committees of guildsmen. The relative merits of princely versus republican government was a hot topic of debate in the 1430s. And this contemporary issue was debated in terms of its classical antecedents, the morality of the Roman Republic of Cicero versus the flowering of culture in the empire under the Caesars. For the humanists employed at the princely courts, it was Julius Caesar and his successors, the emperors of ancient Rome, who were the heroes. By contrast, Florentine humanists promoted the republican Scipio Africanus as the ideal statesman and judged the emperors of ancient Rome to have been decadent. The debate was not just political, but extended to the relative merits of their contributions to culture and science. The arguments in defense of Caesar included not only his skills as a historian and orator in his own right, but also his generous patronage of literary talent.